welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time. And today I have this fluffy fic called Mirror Mirror, which is an insecurity comfort for all of you guys who are kind of feeling down lately. And this one's actually a little bit complicated because I didn't really write any names on it. It's just for your comfort character, and I'm pretty sure this fits well with most characters. But especially with the Haikyuu boys, it would be Tsukishima Kei, Kageyama Tobio, and Sugawara Koshi. But I do think that they fit well with most of these characters you see on screen, and please don't forget to love yourself. Anyways, let's get right into it. It was a surprise to him when one day he was washing his face and the mirror disappeared. Instead, it showed another figure, like it was more of a window rather than a mirror. He instinctively picked up his towel to cover his shirtless form, though he noticed the figure's eyes never really landed on him. It took him a couple of seconds before realizing that you couldn't see him. He tried knocking on the glass, talking, making noises, but none of them seemed to capture your attention. He kept trying until you finished your morning routine, but nothing worked. He wanted to ask if this was normal, or if anyone's ever experienced it at all. But who could he ask? If such things happened, surely they would have taught it at school, right? He found himself staying in the bathroom for far too long at a time, just staring at the mirror and waiting for you to come back. Though he didn't really think about the fact that you would definitely go to the bathroom to shower. He practically bolted out of the door once he notices you taking off your clothes. He had to admit, a part of him wanted to see you, but his moral compass would not let him. He waited for 10 minutes before checking the mirror. You weren't naked, but you were in your underwear, and he assumed you were dressing up and chose to wait there and waved around to try and get your attention. But then he saw your dull eyes looking at the mirror still, but not making eye contact with your own reflection. He noticed this and tried to see what you were looking at, but couldn't find anything out of place until you started pinching your body. He didn't see anything wrong with it. You were gorgeous. But then your eyes slowly get duller and duller, eyebrows knitted and lips crooked into a frown. He doesn't understand. Why were you doing this? After another good 5 minutes, you turned around and started taking off your underwear, and so he decided it was best to get out of the room. He ignored that specific event and found himself getting more and more fixated on finding you. Whoever or wherever you are, he'd find you. So he put on his big boy pants and asked those closest to him if they've ever heard of such things happening. But it was to no avail. In fact, none of them saw anything strange with his bathroom mirror. No matter how many people he asked, no one could see the window he saw. He spent every day trying to find any kind of identification you had on you, so he could somehow find you. Every time you leaned onto the sink with your phone in your hand, he'd try to see your username in every single social media you opened, but once again, it was to no avail. Soon he started to pay less attention to your identity and instead paid more attention to you, your hair, your choice of fashion, and your sense of humor. He found your laugh soothing, so he loved it whenever you found funny videos somewhere and started laughing. He also loved it when you suddenly furrowed your eyebrows whenever some strange statement was thrown by whoever it was you were watching on YouTube. He learned your daily schedule and would try to be there whenever you usually go to the bathroom, especially whenever you did your morning and night routine, because you usually spend more time on your phone and you stay dressed. He loved how you light up so easily. He loved your messy bedhead in the morning. He loved everything about you. But who exactly are you? No matter how many times he tried to peek into your phone, he couldn't see your username anywhere. It didn't help that most of the time you watched content in English, which he isn't really as fluent in as you are. It wasn't until one day you were smiling so widely as you stared at your phone. He kept his eyes on you as your eyes lit up when he heard a voice from your phone. His own voice. Could it be that? He'd be lying if he said he wasn't freaked out. He was even convinced he misheard it for a second. Even as you proceeded to repeat the video several times, he still doubted his deduction. But then you turned around, leaning onto the sink, and he saw the clip you were watching. It really was him, but in the form of an anime character. This confirmed his suspicion. He was never going to find you. Even if he traveled to the ends of the world, he would never be able to reach you because you belonged in a different reality, one he wasn't even sure was real. Even if it is true, why had he never heard of such things as existence? Could it be that he stumbled upon a hole between realities? Or was this some sort of a curse taking effect? The answer to your whereabouts only confused him more. Even though he knew it was to no use, he tried talking to you still. He would sit on the floor, eyes staring at the mirror, waiting for you to show up. And he'd look at you intently, wondering what you'd be like if the two of you were to spend time together. What would your conversations be like? He noticed how you'd always take your phone with you and avoid looking at the mirror whenever you didn't have a shirt on. He knew it could be a bit uncomfortable to look at yourself, but why does it seem like you hate yourself so much? After months of his research on you and the phenomenon, he noted how recently you've been doing body checks more often. Each time he'd see your eyes go dull and almost lifeless. He'd see you pinch here and there, sucking your stomach and pulling at the skin of your face, almost as if you were picking at every single imperfection you had. "Why do you do this?" he whispered. You sighed, pulling away from the mirror before taking off your underwear, and he left the room once more. He wanted to jump into your world, to tell you that you were beautiful and that there's nothing wrong with you. Imperfections are what make people unique and beautiful. He dreamed of crossing through the mirror. He thought about smashing it, but the thought of the possibility of not being able to see you again once he does is enough to prevent him from doing so. That is until he saw you locking yourself, tears streaming down your cheeks and your back on the door. Your eyes flickered to the mirror before you quickly looked away. But mere seconds later, you started body checking again, pinching here and there, tears running down your cheeks. He saw you sob, walking backwards until your back hit the cold wall. He flinched. "Don't you feel cold?" Your legs gave out, and you slipped down onto the floor, pulling your knees close to you. He watched you break down in front of him, unable to do anything. The desperation in his eyes, as if begging the universe to let him speak to you, to let him comfort you. His hands were on the cold surface of the mirror as he was so close to just smashing it, so close to just risk it all to be able to hold you and tell you it's alright, and that there's nothing wrong with you, and that you are beautiful. You're perfect. His soft voice came out as a pled, though it didn't change anything. He still couldn't get to you, and you still wouldn't stop picking out your insecurities. It was the multiverse's cruel way of toying, it seemed. Eventually, you stopped crying, only letting out little sniffles every now and then. He watched you sit there for a good half an hour before standing up and turning on the shower. His hands were still on the mirror, eyes on his sink as he leaned his forehead under the mirror, wishing the universe would let him get what he wanted for once. For right now, he wanted nothing more than for you to understand your own beauty. And that's not the end of the story this time. So I actually wrote sequels per character to this story, and I'm planning on covering a lot of comfort characters for people. So if your comfort character is Oikawa or Kageyama or Bakugo, or well, I think I've written 9 or 10 characters already. So if you're having bad body image issues, you should definitely check them out. And you can also request your comfort character, and I will try my best to write my take on it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like the video to help me with the YouTube algorithm. Dislike it if you think it's horrible. And don't forget to comment down below if you have any requests or if you'd like me to read your fanfiction maybe. Well, anyways, don't forget to click subscribe if you'd like to know when I upload my next one, and I'll see you guys then. Bye!